in today's training. I know last week we talked about how to monetize your social media. That's going to be the topic every time. I'm going to just come with different information and other ways of how to do so. Every time you see me, I'm going to be telling you how to make money online. Okay? That's just the default in different ways. And I'm always going to start out with our mental minutes. Our mental minutes are going to help propel us and get our minds right so that we can receive abundance from making money online. Because if we go into things and we keep the same mindset, we're not going to be able to believe and know that we can make 10 bands a week or a month online with selling digital products. So I am very excited for today's training. First, I'm going to start out with my intro because everybody doesn't know who I am. A lot of y'all do. My name is Aaliyah. I am a spiritual practitioner. I'm also a digital marketing consultant who provides folks with knowledge, done for you products. So, as a spiritual practitioner, I do multiple things. I do spiritual healing, I do retreats, holistic health education. I'm a certified holistic coach. As a digital marketing consultant, I provide strategic ways for business owners and content creators to expand their online presence and to increase their online sales and to convert their community into sales as well. And basically provide them with strategy to grow their account and to grow their audience. And I also have digital products. I have a digital marketing course called Digital Boss Academy, DBA. I'm sure you guys may have heard about it. Similar to UBC, but it's at a lower price. It's UBC is $500. Digital Boss Academy is $111. Normal price is $222. So those are some things about me. And we're going to start soon. I'm going to wait till some more people get into the room. Like the live, share the live. Like the live, share the live, let's get our likes up so that we can get started with our information for tonight. Hi, Clarissa. Hi, the Grateful One. Hi, Lugal. Hey, Ashley. Hi, Haley. Like the live, share the live so we can get started tonight, you guys. We're going to be talking about how to monetize your social media. We're going to be talking about how to monetize your social media. So the focus of tonight is going to be your brand story, how to earn commission on TikTok. And if we have some time, I'll get into affiliate marketing, but it depends on how much time we have left. And as far as our mental minutes, we're going to focus on approval versus acceptance and getting comfortable with taking up space. Those are very important aspects when you're a content creator and you're constantly, creating content and exposing yourself and basically being in front of the camera all the time. It can be challenging if you're not used to being on social media and making content. I've been doing content since 2011 on YouTube, so it doesn't really bother me. But if you're new to it, it may be something that's daunting for you that you have to kind of groove into. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our mental minutes. So the first point, approval versus acceptance. If this is your first time, please drop a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time here, drop a 1 in the chat so that I know who's new and who's not. Okay, so approval versus acceptance. Basically, approval is for yourself. This is for accepting an approval for yourself. Approval is going to be when you embrace the present without needing it to change. Like you're fine with your life. You're content with yourself. An example of that would be acceptance. So mindful meditation. In mindful meditation, to help you get content and focus on yourself, you're going to focus on your breath, your bodily sensations without wanting to alter anything. And you're going to observe your thoughts. Observe them without judgment. So if you think about something that's a little crazy, you're not going to be like, damn, bitch, that's stupid. Like you're just observing your thoughts. So that's a form of acceptance of yourself when you're in mindful meditation and you're thinking without judgment and you're observing your thoughts. This practice is going to help you grow a deeper appreciation for yourself and the present moment. And that's going to help you when it comes to monetizing your social media, because if you're constantly criticizing yourself, judging yourself, or having negative thoughts about yourself, it's going to be hard for you to put out content. You're going to feel like, damn, I don't like this edit, or I don't like the way I'm looking here. I don't like how I said this, or I don't like how I look on that angle. When you're making content, you can't be that critical and judgmental of yourself, because then you're never going to put anything out. Mind you, you have to put something out 3 times a day. So you want to really work on your self-acceptance when it comes to monetizing your social media. That's a big part of it. So next, it's also being open for your self-evolution. So on the other end of that, the other spectrum is totally opposite of that, and that is having approval, having to approve of yourself. So in that terms, you're thinking there's a wrong or right. Everything's black or white when it comes to you. You're forcing yourself to pick a side. That's going to stunt your growth when it comes to monetizing your social media. So you can't do that to yourself, because it's also not a good form of self-love. If you're going to make content, you have to fully accept yourself and not look for not being judgmental, because you're not going to want to put out content, right? So an example of that is when you show up being judgmental about yourself. So for me, the other day, I was going grocery shopping and I was moving too fast, doing a million things at once, and my mind is always going. So I locked my keys in the truck. In that moment, I could have easily been very judgmental of myself and be like, damn, Malia, how you lock the keys in the truck? But I wasn't. I gave myself compassion. Hello, hey, how you doing? I gave myself compassion. And in that moment, I was just like, okay, you messed up. You had to pay $269 to the locksmith to open your truck. But in that moment, I gave myself love versus giving myself judgment and criticism. And that's something that's big when it comes to monetizing your social media and putting out content. You have to love who you are already and accept yourself fully. So whenever you're making stuff, you're not fully critical on every little angle and every little thing that you're doing. And it'll be easier for you to create and give value to your audience, because you already accept who you are. So I gave myself compassion in that moment, because on the other end of that would have been me self-blaming, which would have been detrimental to my self-love. So I recognized that I made a mistake and I moved on, because I have a non-judgmental relationship with myself. So when people are super judgmental and nitpicky about other folks, you can only imagine how they are in their mind and how they are in their head when it comes to themselves. So that's why I make it a conscious practice not to judge people. Now, you may have a thought, but you have to try to stop it, because if you're thinking that about somebody else and projecting that on someone else, you're going to do that to yourself as well, and worse, towards yourself. So again, I see some more people have joined the chat, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Aaliyah. I am a spiritual practitioner and a digital marketing consultant. As a spiritual practitioner, I'm a postpartum doula. I'm also a death doula, so I welcome life in and I welcome life out. I'm a certified holistic health coach. I do community events where I'm educating people on all things holistic health. I also do workshops. I do retreats. I will host a retreat where I come in and I'll do guided meditation, guided yoga, and things like that. And then on my digital marketing consulting side, I provide small business owners and content creators with strategic planning on their social media to enhance their online presence, to increase their following, and also to increase their conversions within their community. Basically get their sales up and get their brand together. So along with that, I also offer digital products. I offer a digital marketing course called Digital Boss Academy. What is that? Digital Boss Academy is a course that if you're a business owner, a brand, a content creator, or just someone that's looking to turn a new leaf and start making money online, it'll help you literally step by step from how to create a done-for-you product, what a done-for-you product is. It just tells you everything from A to Z. If you're struggling with attracting new clients, if you're struggling with standing out online, trust me, I get it, because in the beginning, I struggled with those things as well. But when I got Digital Boss Academy, the modules lay everything out from you. Like literally, there's no questions left. But if you do have questions, there's a community that comes with the modules. So you can go in there and everyone's doing the same thing. And a lot of them are more experienced than you, so you can get insight and help with your journey. Digital marketing can be very overwhelming if you are doing it by yourself. So I imagine if you had all the tools, all the templates, and the strategies that you needed to transform your business at your fingertips. That's what Digital Boss Academy is. And you can get that today for $111, or if you use the Afterpay of Firm or Clanera, you can get it for $27. So I don't gatekeep. I'm here to share the knowledge and share the information because it literally is your way to escape from the rat race or the matrix if that is something that you want to do. That is what I desire, not for the money, but more so for the time freedom so I can spend more time with my husband and my kids. So this is the tool that I'm using to get out. And if you want it, you can have it too. So with Digital Boss Academy, you'll learn how to boost your online presence. For example, for me, when I got it, I literally got it on May the 5th. Today is June the 11th. So on May the 5th, I had on Instagram 1,232 followers. Today, June the 11th, only a month and 6 days after having Digital Boss Academy, I now have 6,421 followers. And that's from the tools that I learned from Digital Boss Academy. Now, you can buy it, but you have to also put action behind it. You can't just get it and not do what's in there, or it's not going to do anything for you. And then on TikTok, I went from 1,621 followers to now, a month and 6 days later, 2,125 followers. So that shows you I'm proof that Digital Boss Academy does what it says it's going to do. It also helps you attract and retain more clients. For example, I went from 0 sales the first 3 weeks because I didn't know what I was doing. I was new to selling digital products, not digital marketing, but selling digital products. I was new to that. And then by week 4, I had 19 sales. So from May 5th to June 11th, 19 sales from 0 for 3 weeks. Thank you. I appreciate it. So that this literal proof that if I can do it, you can do it. You don't have to have experience. You don't have to have a master's degree, though I do. You don't have to have all that. You can just literally go by the modules, follow the steps, and then you can be successful as well. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a get rich quick scheme. It's not. It's work behind it. It's consistency behind it. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to post 3 times a day at a minimum. And so if you're ready to take your business or your content creation to the next level and achieve your goals, join Digital Boss Academy with me today for $111, or you can do the Afterpay option and pay $27 payments, $4 installments of $27, and it's yours. Click the link in my bio. You can get started today. Make 2024 your best year yet, and then next year make 2025 better, and so on and so on. Start today. Whatever you do, just start today. Even if you don't get DBA, start better in your life today, because you can easily, if you're always scrolling on here, you can make money on here. Take advantage of what is at your fingertips, because I am. And it's a $1 trillion industry, y'all. Right now it's projected to be $6 trillion industry next year, 2025. So there's more than enough money for everybody. So get it. So the next topic for our mental minutes is getting comfortable with taking up space. When you monetize your social media and you become a content creator or you're a small business owner, you will have to get comfortable with taking up space. For so long, when I was younger, I was conditioned to, be quiet, be in a child's place, don't do this, don't do that. So as a young adult, I've grown out of it. But when I was a young adult, fresh out into this world, I tried to take up the least amount of space as possible because that's just what I was trained to do. Not anymore. I don't do that. But so what do I mean by taking up space? So for example, you could be at work under a lot of pressure and your boss comes to you and they ask you a question or they want a solution. So instead of trying to rush and panic and come up with something, you could just take a moment, open your legs, let your gut hang out over your vagina or your penis, whatever one you have, if you have both, whatever. And just think, ponder. Take a deep breath. Look out into space. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Take another deep breath. Wonder. That's taking up space. When you give yourself time to do what you need to do, when you give yourself time to be who you are, when you give yourself time to think, that is taking up space. We're conditioned to do, fast, quick, pump this out, pump that out. But we don't have to do that. So when you're monetizing your social media, it's paramount that you learn to take up space and you get comfortable with doing that. Okay. Now, we're going to move on. We're going to get into our first way of monetizing your social media, and that is learning how to master and message and articulate your brand story. So, what is brand story? Your brand story has three parts to it. The first part is going to be your origin. The second part of your brand story is going to be your defining moment. Your third part is going to be transformation. So in your brand story, when you're monetizing your social media, your brand story is more than just marketing and posting 3 times a day. It's your messaging. It's how you sound, how your followers hear your voice. Like, for example, Nike has their own messaging. You know when you're watching a Nike commercial. You know when you're watching a Walmart commercial, because they have certain colors. They have certain ways that they appeal to the audience. So that's an example of brand messaging. So when you're monetizing your social media, that is important. So the three parts again are your origin, defining moment, and your transformation. So I'll give you an example of brand story. So I'm going to use Spider-Man, for example. So his origin was, he was an orphan. His parents got killed in a car wreck, right? And then he got bit by a radioactive spider. So that was his origin. His defining moment was when he was doing underground fighting. He had won the fight, and it was time for him to get paid. And the man that was supposed to pay Spider-Man didn't pay him. So Spider-Man was like, "What the fuck?" He was mad. So the guy shoot him off like, "Whatever. He's young. I don't give a damn. I'm not paying him back." So then Spider-Man shortly saw the guy that did not pay him getting beat up. And what did he do? He was like, "He didn't pay me. Fuck him." So he left. He left the man there, right? But shortly after that, the same man that robbed the guy that didn't pay Spider-Man turned around and killed Spider-Man's uncle. So that was his defining moment. He was like, like, oh my God, like I could have got him the first time when I saw him rob an old boy, but I let him be because that guy pissed me off. But from there on, that defining moment made Spider-Man be like, I'm never gonna let that happen again. If I see a bad guy, I'm fighting him. I'm not going for that no more. So that was his defining moment in his brand story and his origin story, right? So his transformation was when he turned into Spider-Man after that. Then he started fighting the bad guys, and he didn't let anybody get away. If he saw wrong being done, Spider-Man took it upon himself to stop it. So that is an example of a brand story. You see how it had three parts to it. So it had his origin, him being an orphan, him getting bit by the spider, and then it had the defining moment. His uncle got killed by the guy that he let go. And then he transformed into Spider-Man. He was killing bad guys and whatever. So that's one example of a brand story. So another example, I'm going to use myself now. So my brand story, my origin would have been, so for example, when I first got my first job when I moved from college, I moved from home. I moved to another state. I was by myself in a slick racist town. I had to adjust. I was depressed. I was sad. I was lonely because I didn't know anybody. So then also at my job, my managers would withhold information, so I couldn't do well. And then the second thing, the defining moment, was me getting fired. When COVID came around, I got fired. They were laying off people. I was newer, but I was a manager, so I didn't think I had anything to worry about because none of the managers were getting laid off. So on my off day, my manager called me. So let me give you some backstory. I had a manager. Her name was Morgan. Racist. Her husband was a cop. We're in Olathe, Kansas. So does that sound like somewhere that they like Black people? No. And Olathe, Kansas is like 15, 20 minutes from Kansas City, Missouri. Mind you, Missouri was one of the last states to free the enslaved people, to give you some perspective on how they look at Black people, right? So this was my first encounter with Morgan. This was probably my second week on the job. I had my afro out. Only Black woman in management there. We're in the boardroom. Our VP, Steve, is coming in town from Oklahoma, and he wanted to discuss plans for the next quarter with all the managers. And I was sitting next to our HR manager, Amy. And Morgan comes to the door and say me and Amy are sitting right here. And she goes, Amy, can you have her move down 3 seats? Mind you, I'm sitting right here. So she didn't address me. She thought it was proper to tell Amy to have me move down 3 seats. I guess she didn't want me sitting that close to the VP, Steve. So I'm looking at her. Amy looks at me. I look at Morgan. We all just looking at each other, blinking. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't move because, first of all, bitch, why don't you just ask me if I can move? Second of all, I'm not going anywhere because who do you think you are? So that was my first encounter of Morgan, to give you an idea of how her personality is and how her mind works. So I'm in my sales rotation. In this role, I was a management trainee, and we had different rotations. So we had sales, production, service, and office. And at this time, I'm in sales, right? So mind you, again, I'm the only Black woman in the sales department. There's another Black guy. Well, his color was brown, but he was really whitewashed. He was married to a white woman, and he thought he was Black. I mean, white. The way he carried himself. His name was Jermaine. So Michael, he was our admin guy. He fills out all the paperwork when we close on a new customer and we get a new contract. One day, Michael was like, Aaliyah, I need to tell you something. Michael was gay, outspoken, extra, a tad bit of messy, but I appreciated his messiness this day because this is something that I needed to know. So he was like, Aaliyah. And I was like, what? What's going on? He was like, I have to tell you something. I was like, okay. And he was like, well, I was on FaceTime with Morgan the other night, and she said that she doesn't want you on her team. She doesn't want you to succeed, and she's not going to help you, and that she just doesn't really want you to be here, and she doesn't want you to be successful. And I was just like, okay, work from home. Thank you for the likes. I was like, okay, I don't care if Morgan likes me. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to do my job and go home and to learn what I need to do. And I'm going to be successful with or without her help, even though that is my manager and that's her job for me to become successful under her training. So Michael was like, oh, I'm just letting you know because, you know, I love you, 2nd and 3rd. I was like, okay, I appreciate it. Cool. So the next day, Michael's not at work. So I'm like, oh, shit. Where's Michael at? So I'm thinking Michael got fired because he wasn't there for like the next 4 days, right? So then everybody's like, oh, Aaliyah. Everyone's like trying to rush to me like before I guess Morgan comes in. And they're like, Aaliyah, don't be mad. Don't this. Oh, this and that third. Michael was lying. Don't believe him. I was like, well, how do you know he's lying? Were you there when they were talking? No. And I'm like, okay, so how can you say that he was lying if you weren't there? So the vibe I was getting was they thought that I was going to be aggressive towards Morgan and I was going to try to hurt her because she said what she said. But it's like, I'm actually the one that this was geared towards, not Morgan. And so then Morgan wasn't there the next day. She came to work the day after, and she calls a meeting. So I already knew this was going to be some bullshit, right? So we go into the meeting room, and she's got puffy eyes, like she's been crying. And she was like, you guys, I just really wanted to touch base with everyone and to make sure that, everyone knows that whatever rumors are going around are not true. And I don't want it to impede on any of our relationships. And I just want us to still have a good environment here, the 7th, 3rd. And I'm just like, can we get back to work? Like it was really some bullshit, basically. So, and then she, everyone's leaving. They conclude the meeting. And right before I can come out, she's like, Aaliyah, can I speak with you? And I'm just like, oh, shit. So I'm like, sure. I sit down. She starts crying. And she was like, I just wanted you to know that whatever Michael said was not true, the 7th, 3rd. And I was like, well, what do you think he said? Because I'm playing dumb. I want her to say from her mouth what she said, basically. So she was like, well, I was told that he told you that I said that I didn't want you on the team and that I didn't like you and this and this. And I was like, yeah, that is some of what he said. She's like, I was drinking that night. I had some wine. I don't think I said that. So I'm just like, first of all, why are you on FaceTime drinking with someone that you're a manager of anyway? it was just so many things wrong with the story. But she was like basically crying to myself. I was drinking. I don't think I said that. She couldn't even confirm that she didn't say it. So that's how I know that she was lying, right? So that is the defining moment for me. And that, oh well, let me finish. There's more. So after that, okay, cool, whatever. I went back to business as usual. The next about 2 or 3 months later, COVID hit, and they were laying people off. And I didn't think I was going to have to worry about it because they weren't laying any managers off. But on my off day, I got called. I got a text from Morgan, and she was like, "Hey, can you come in? Me and Ryan need to meet with you." And I'm just like, "Oh shit. Okay, sure." Like I'm trying to act like I'm not bothered or not worried, but I figured like, what did I do? What am I in trouble? So anyway, I go into my off day. Ryan, our GM, he's at the table looking all disheveled and upset. I'm just like, what's going on? And Morgan's smiling from ear to ear. It's Christmas. So I sit down, and then Ryan, long story short, Ryan was like, well, we've lost a lot of business since COVID, and we're having to cut back a lot with pay. And unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go due to us not having the budget for you. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. So I guess they assumed that they thought I was going to have a negative reaction to being laid off, but I actually was happy to go because I wasn't getting what I needed out of the situation. People were withholding information from me, so I wasn't getting the proper training. Was a lot of microaggressions. It was a weird environment, a weird situation. So I was happy to be let go, and I had a nice severance package. So as I'm heading out, Morgan, thanks for liking the live. Let's keep the likes going. Let's get to 300 likes. So as I'm walking out, Morgan goes, "Wait, Aaliyah." Mind you, the whole office can see me and hear what's going on. Morgan's like, "Wait, Aaliyah, you have to leave your company card when you get laid off. Bring your company card back." So I'm like, this bitch. Mind you, like, you think I'm going to just keep the card and go use it? But anyway, I take the card back. I hold my head up, chest out. I'm walking with dignity. Give her shit back, and I leave. And from that day on, I'm like, okay, I'm never going to give anybody the opportunity to tell me when and how I'm going to make money or base it off of if they like me or not. And that's when I started taking digital marketing more serious. I was already doing it freelance for different companies, but I wasn't doing it full time because I was still working, And so that is my transformation. So that's an example of a brand story. My origin was me moving away from home after college for my first corporate job. The defining moment was me getting fired in front of everybody and walked out. And then my transformation was me realizing, okay, I'm never letting this shit happen again. So those are all the components that you need within your brand story to have clear messaging, so you know who your audience is and they know exactly what it is that you're offering for them. That's gonna, with a compelling brand story and messaging, that's how you're gonna keep their attention. People think that products sell, but really what sells is you giving them a solution, you speaking to their pain points. That's what sells. Nobody wants to hear about all the different gadgets and nooks and crannies that you're providing. They want to know how you're going to solve their problem. So that's where that comes in with the brand story. With each story that you tell, always make sure that you pick a villain. You want to tell stories about your greatest losses. You want to tell stories where you learned something. You want to tell stories where there was some transformation, where you went from point A, you went B, and then you went to C. That's how you want to create your content. Of course, everything doesn't have to be a story, but you have to have an overall story so then your audience knows, okay, this is Aaliyah's brand. Because mind you, there's hundreds of thousands of people on the internet that are selling digital products. So you want to make sure that you are standing out. You want to make sure that you're not the same. And you do that by basically being yourself. Always be yourself, because your vibe is going to attract your tribe. You don't have to be anybody else when you're doing the digital marketing. I'm telling you, that's when it got easy for me. That's really one of the, oh, I got some water on my shirt. But that's really one of the mistakes that I made when I first started. When I first started selling digital products, I was trying to be all salesy and be like someone else that I saw because I thought that's what I had to do to sell. But in actuality, I already had an audience built up from my spirituality content. So I just had to go back to being myself. And that's when I started having sales, when I was being authentically who I am. So I do see that there's some new people in chat, so I'm going to introduce myself again. My name is Aaliyah. I am a spiritual practitioner, and I am a digital marketing consultant. As a spiritual practitioner, I offer a range of holistic services, including retreat hosting. I do community workshops. In my retreat hosting, I offer guided yoga, guided meditation settings. Guided meditation sessions. I'm a death doula, so I welcome life out, and I also am a postpartum doula. I help welcome life in. And I'm also a digital marketing consultant where I help small businesses and content creators expand and enhance their social media presence and drive their sales. I offer marketing and branding courses, digital templates, and plenty more resources. One of them being Digital Boss Academy. And what Digital Boss Academy is, it is a marketing course that does a lot of things. So one of those things being it boosts your audience and your online visibility. So for example, when I first got DBA, which was May the 6th, I only had 1,232 followers on Instagram. Once I started implementing the things I was learning from the modules on DBA, I went up to 6,421 followers on Instagram. And that's in a month and 6 days. On TikTok, I had 1,621 followers. I went up to 2,125 followers. So it also helps you attract and retain more clients. For example, I went from 0 sales for the first 3 weeks to having 19 sales in the 4th week. So of course, there's a learning curve. So when you first start doing it, you've never done this before, you're new. You're essentially a baby. Think of yourself as a newborn baby. You have to nurture it. You have to breastfeed it. Now, you can't be a newborn baby and then expect to be walking and running. That's the thing. People get into digital marketing and digital products and they expect to be making 10K a month their first couple months. I'm not going to say it's not realistic, but that's not normally how it goes. Now, it is possible if you already had a huge following, but if you have to build your page up, that's not going to happen. But you have to be okay with that, and you have to be willing to push through that resistance to get your page going, to build that trust with your audience, to identify your target audience. And that's when you start speaking to their pain points and giving them solutions instead of trying to sell the product, that's when you're going to start selling. So another thing the Digital Boss Academy does for you is it ultimately increases your bookings and your revenue if you are a service provider. So for content creators, or if you're a small business owner and you're ready to take your stuff to the next level, I do recommend to achieve your goals to join Digital Boss Academy today for only $111, or you can do the payment plan for $27, 4 installments of $27. So you can click the link in my bio to get started and make 2024 the best year, and the next year better as well. So far we talked about mindful minutes, mindful tips, ways to get your mind right so that you can get ready to sell your digital products. One of them being getting comfortable with taking up space and also having acceptance for yourself versus approval. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is earning money on TikTok with commissions. So that's another way to monetize your social media, earning money on TikTok with commissions. So it used to be like a couple months ago, the requirements were you had to have 5,000 followers. In the last 2 weeks, they just changed it. Now you only have to have 1,000 followers. So that's crazy. That's great. You only have to have 1,000 followers to monetize your TikTok now. So what you can do is get on TikTok Shop, find you a product that you like or something that you see that offers free samples. Click on that, put that in your cart, and then also click on free sample, and then boom, they mail it to you. Excuse me. You make a video. When you make the video, you want to make sure that the content is captivating something that will sell. So how do you do that? You do that by speaking to the outcome, not the product. So for example, if y'all see me on TikTok with a bra on, mind your business. But my video is talking about the solutions that the bra has. Like, for example, there's no spillage with the bra. The bra covers the sides. The bra has good support. So I'm speaking to solutions. I'm not just saying, oh, it's pink, it's a bra. You know what I'm saying? So when you're making content with the products, you want to make sure that you're speaking to the solution and the outcome and not trying to sell the product. That's how you get commissions, and that is how you sell. And another thing, another way to help monetize and get more commissions off of that product is make sure that you give the seller of the item that you're advertising your video code. When you give them your video code, they're going to go in and they're going to boost your video for you. They're going to pay to boost the video for you so you can get more views and get it pushed out into the algorithm. So that's also another hack. And also, if you have a monthly budget for ads, which you should, at least $40. Thanks for liking the live. If you cannot spare $40, then you're not ready to invest in doing the commissions for TikTok. I recommend that you boost your own video. If you have a product, boost your own video and get it pushed out. I did it for the first time last week. My video got over 4,000 views. So that's going to help you get your commissions when you're doing the TikTok shop with the products. So make sure that you're doing these things. You have 1K followers if you want to monetize your TikTok, and a way to get 1,000 followers if you don't already have them. I know you probably think it's corny, but the follow trains. So for example, if you're on your timeline and you see somebody doing a follow train post, the 10K to whatever, go to that. Everyone that has liked or commented that all the comments, like all the comments on that post. Once you like all the comments on that post, follow each person that you've liked, because them commenting on that post shows that they're already willing to follow already. So go ahead, follow each person from that post that commented on it. Make sure you follow them and make sure that they follow you back. That's an easy way to get to 1,000 followers. There's these lives where people solely are on the live. They create the live so that people can get followed. So it's like a follow for follow live. Join those lives. So those are two ways to easily get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. Once you hit 1,000 followers, you go to TikTok shop, find you something that gives out free samples, and you get that sample, and then you make your captivating content that speaks to the solution of what the product does and not try to sell the product necessarily. And also make sure that you give the seller your video code so they can boost your video so that you can get more views and more commission on your product. Okay, y'all, we're almost done here. I'm going to close with the exercise, but before we do that, I'm going to do a recap. So tonight we talked about how to monetize your social media with having your brand story and also through earning commissions through TikTok shop. But before we talk about that, our mental minutes were touching on approval versus acceptance within ourselves, and also getting comfortable with taking up space. You need all those things to be successful at monetizing your social media. If you guys have any questions, now is the time. We're going to do Q&A right now. Now is the time. If you have any questions, let me know. No questions? Okay. All right. So let's do our closing exercise. So what I like to do, there is a lot of power in writing things down. And this has gotten me almost everything that I wanted. I write down what I want. So before we close tonight, I want everybody to get some paper and pen. Put today's date on your paper. So today is June 11th, 2024. Put today's date on your paper. After you do that, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to honestly and truly visualize something that you really want. What is it that you want? Say it out loud. After you say it out loud, write it down. So for me, my goal this month is to have $1,000 in sales. Right now, that is my goal, to have $1,000 in sales from Digital Boss Academy. So I'm saying mine out loud. I'm saying what I'm commanding. I'm manifesting my $1,000 by the end of the month. We have 19 days left in the month of June. What do you want? Write it down. Say it out loud. Mine is $1,000 in sales. Right now I'm at, okay, say what you want. Did y'all write it down? Okay. I want you guys to dedicate yourself to that. So whatever you wrote it down, I want you to reverse engineer it. Figure out the steps on what that is. Figure out what the steps are. Figure out what those steps are and work backwards. Okay? So nobody had any questions. We're going to go ahead and close. Today we talked about ways to monetize your social media by having your brand story together. Your brand story is 3 parts: your origin, your defining moment, and your transformation. People want to connect with you through your story. They want to know about you. They want to know why you're doing what you do. People want to connect. We're human beings. That's really all we want, is love and connection at the end of the day. And another way to monetize your social media is to earn commissions via TikTok Shop. The requirements are to have 1,000 followers, and then you get your free sample and you make your content. Okay. So again, I do want to let you guys know that I do have Digital Boss available. Digital Boss Academy is available today for you. If you're struggling with attracting new followers, if you're struggling with getting new customers, new clients, if you're struggling to stand out online, trust me, I get it. I was too when I first started. I was not always where I was. Everybody starts at 0. We all start at 0 followers. I don't care who you were. Digital marketing can be very overwhelming if you're doing it by yourself. But with Digital Boss Academy, you get a community of people that's all doing the same thing as you. And there's everybody's sharing their wins. Everybody's motivating each other. I've literally never gone into the community and people were negative. It's always positive vibes and people trying to support each other. Imagine having the tools and the templates, everything that you need at your fingertips to transform your business, to increase your following, to convert your community into sales. It's all in there. Digital Boss Academy will help you learn how to boost your online presence and your visibility. It'll help you to attract new followers, to attract new customers. Ultimately, it's going to increase your revenue. That's what we all want. For me, it's not about money. It's about the time freedom. So, for example, when I first got DBA, which was May the 5th, when I got DBA, I had 1,232 followers on Instagram. Today, I have 6,421. And you can go look at my page and see. There's no cap in my rap. What I'm telling you is I got those modules and I started taking action. I didn't just buy it and let it sit. That's the thing. You can buy it, but if you don't use it and take action on it, it's going to do nothing for you. So it's $111 today. If you get the payment plan, you can get it for $27. If you don't want to spend too much money, I recommend to go ahead and get Digital Boss Academy. It comes with a community as well. Excuse me. I'm telling you guys, this is $1 trillion industry. If you're wanting to fire your boss, if you're tired of folks clocking your every move, trying to see when you're done with your break, asking you what you did for the weekend, if you're tired of having to walk into work, free yourself. Unlock your freedom and get into Digital Boss Academy. I'm going to stay here for a minute. If you guys have